Exploitation films are, for those who are late to the party, Australian exploitation movies that came out after the introduction of the R rating in 1971, and in turn, the genre, in many eyes, gave birth to, or helped along the Australian New Wave. Now, you're probably wondering why I'm talking about this and not the Third Prophecy movie. Well, I did a bit of thinking, and this can pretty much sum it up. Walken isn't the villain, and is barely in the film. It follows the same plot outline as the first two. An angel comes to Earth looking to turn the tide and loses. The end. Now, this time, we not only have one of the most famous exploitation entries of all time, but also one of the most famous sequels of all time. The Road Warrior is its title in the US, but everywhere else, it's Mad Max 2. The usually accepted reason for this is due to the very limited release of the original Mad Max in the States. Calling the film Mad Max 2 would just confuse audiences. One of the few times where the US release isn't using a 2 moniker to capitalize on previous successes. Or failures, like when they retitled the Italian horror film Goblins into fucking Troll 2. We get what looks like the hastiest Warner Brothers logo ever as we start this film off, with narration over what looks like Universal newsreel stock footage as we get introduced to the backstory.
The city's exploded. A whirlwind of looting. A firestorm of fear.
So V for Vendetta meets Damnation Alley. Now, usually backstory narrations take up a minute or two, or even use a text crawl, but not Road Warrior. Nah, its droning lasts for a full 4 minutes. You would think that if someone is watching a Mad Max sequel, they'd have watched Mad Max first. And just because it isn't called a sequel in the US, it doesn't mean a person in Australia wouldn't know what it was. You wouldn't walk into The Godfather 2 without watching the first one. And if you did, well, aren't you at the top of the fucking gene pool? I'm sorry, did I get a copy of For Russia with Love by mistake? Because this opening score sounds much more like John Barry than Brian May. Our protagonist, played by a young and less dogmatic Mel Gibson, is doing what he does best in these films, taking on highway scavengers. It's the original Bebop and Rocksteady. Ricky's cooler. Max gathers up some gas and then heads into a fade-out. As we come across him again, a plot device in the form of Bruce Spence pops up from the ground, and Max is told where to find bountiful amounts of fuel. They find the depot as night falls and the bandits retreat. You may notice how well the film is shot so far, and that's because the director of photography on this movie was none other than Dean Semler, future Oscar-winning cinematographer on Dances with Wolves, Roland Emmerich's 2012, and Angelina Jolie's In the Land of Blood and Honey. Max saves a man and takes him back to the refinery. I didn't know Joe Dirt was an Aussie. Christ, did these guys get their costumes all loaned from A New Hope? The man dies and the bandits return, trapping Max inside.
Remember, Human Shield, protect our tanks and planes too!
They do love to rev their engines, don't they? I think I can get away with one more South Park joke.
Just wanted to let you know, you're fucking fags.
Just walk away.
and there will be an end to the horror.
Giving them a day to decide, the refiners discuss their fates with many willing to give up. Max convinces them that there is another option, to which they agree.
2 days ago, I saw a vehicle that had hauled that tanker. You want to get out of here? You talk to me.
Max sneaks past the bandit patrols and runs back at Spence, utilizing him again as his bitch on call. He kicks the rig back to life and returns to the refinery, where he runs headlong into the bandits. Every time I see this guy, this goes through my mind. Mohawk makes it inside the refinery with Max with a few more goons and goes for the gate. That flip was as necessary as a sequel to Raging Bull. What, don't believe me? Check on IMDb, it's on there. With the bandits beaten back, they prepare the rig and Max prepares himself to leave everyone behind.
Hey, it's been a pleasure doing business with you, but I'm leaving. I'm leaving.
Does anyone else believe this film was the inspiration for Waterworld? Seriously, it has the same damn feel to it, except where Waterworld, well, was in the water, and this one's in the desert. And where Waterworld was monstrously overly expensive, this one was the most expensive movie made in Australia at the time. We get a montage of the Lost Boys gone the opening of Coppola's Dracula as prisoners are tortured and killed. We then check in on the refiners putting flux capacitors into the DeLoreans, and Max sets about leaving the compound. Did you think that cutting frames now would look good after all of the real high-speed chases in this movie? We get more cut frames as Max's signature interceptor is totaled off the road. Interestingly enough, only 2 interceptors were ever used in all of the Mad Max films. The one originally used in the first installment was modified and reused for the Road Warrior. However, the one we see destroyed right here was actually another one modified in the exact same fashion, but was only built to be destroyed. In fact, a total of 949 units of this particular interceptor were ever made, making it one of the most highly sought-after cars in existence. Max manages to survive and is rescued by Spence. I know his character is the Gyro Captain, but that just makes him sound like the owner of an Italian deli. Max takes command of driving the fuel tanker and they face down the bandits. After crashing through, the bandits enter the compound where... Should I also mention that this compound was the most expensive set ever built for an Aussie film? And that this explosion destroying that set was the largest ever created for an Australian movie at the time? After Max's turret defenses are all destroyed, it's down to the final chase scene. And believe it or not, this has got to be one of the best chase sequences ever put on film. After he's finally driven from the road after running headlong into villain Mick S&M here, it's discovered that the real fuel was being transported in the civilian buses. And we've come to the end of it all. And how does it really hold up? The acting was as subtle as any of the car wrecks in the film, the direction was passable, and the stunts are some of the best I've ever seen. Not an Oscar film by any standard, but it's a great time for everyone watching. And sure, I'm certain there are better acted films with awesome car chases, such as The French Connection, The Blues Brothers, and Inception, but you really can't go wrong with this one. And many of the people involved would go on to major acclaim, like Mel Gibson, Dean Semler, and even the director George Miller would go on to helm mainstream successes like The Witches of Eastwick and Happy Feet. You know what? This film wasn't controversial. And if you know my taste in movies and the films that I try to make, the more offensive and edgy, the better. So what film could I do that could soothe this desire? Pink Flamingos? Cannibal Holocaust? Nah, the cinema snobs already got those covered. But then again, what controversial film hasn't Brad Jones covered? How many of you have heard of a little film called Faces of Death?